stocked up on the important items already. Make sure to check to see what you're going to need over the next several hours. Probably a good idea to top off your gas tank before the storm comes through in case we go without power, and that way you won't be able to pump gas. Also, last minute grocery items. Think of non-perishable items, particularly canned goods.
And it's always important during severe weather to have multiple ways to be in the know about what's going on. If there's a chance you can't get us on air, you should have a way to get wireless emergency alerts. Now, many counties have a code red notification system you can sign up for via text. You can also set up alerts yourself. Go to your settings on your mobile phone, go to notifications, and turn on your public safety alerts and emergency alerts. You can also get notifications from apps like the National Weather Service or the 13WMAZ mobile app.
Ongoing drainage problems in Rochelle, leaving folks anxious about all of that rain that has come and is to come. We received video this morning from folks in Rochelle, an area called the Bottom. They say an unrepaired city drainage ditch causes water and debris to back up into streets and yards, even leaving people trapped on their front porches. Now, with Helene bringing all of this rain, they are really concerned. City leaders say there is a grant in place that they hope will address this problem.
Hey.
All right, the radar has a little bit of a lull in some spots. That's good. We've had so much rain. Good to have a break for a little bit, but more is starting to come up. 75 into Perry there. Yeah, a lot of stuff to cover, especially late tonight. That's when we get into the wind. That's on the way.
There's a storm coming. Yeah. And Kitty has to stay inside because there's a storm coming. You can tell me all you want to.
You got a letterbox for a reason.
That's mine.
This is Lee Dickey with Dickey Farms. Join us for our annual corn maze and fall
No.
activities, hayride, pumpkin patch, ball zone, and don't miss a seasonal favorite, our homemade butter pecan ice cream here at Dickey Farms.
Our mission has always been to
Dickey.
support Georgia farmers. That's why we created Georgia Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, providing financial protection that farmers needed.
Nuh-uh.
While this remains the same today, we've grown to protect all Georgians.
Oh,
And life insurance. From the very beginning and into the future, we stand for every Georgia community. We are a Farm Bureau.
Uh-uh.
My name's Stacy. I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020.
We were adopted in 2019.
And we were adopted in 2021.
We had a house, and it sounds crazy, but it wasn't a home. The one thing that Jake and Emma brought is it became a home.
When I met Dakota, he had just turned 14.
You weren't there for the first this and the first that. I missed the first words, but we got a lot of other firsts.
Watching her say, "Oh my God, I cannot believe I got my license," and she's like, "I passed," and I'm like, "Girl."
See them grow. It is.
They chose to love us. They didn't have to. They chose us. Family.
You and you.
Kids in the middle. What I thought was a complete life was nowhere near complete, but it is now.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
This is Lee Dickey at Dickey Farms.
I thought he was cleaning himself for a second. I'm just like, how in the world are you doing that? But it was just her hand.
And don't miss a seasonal favorite, our homemade butter pecan ice cream here at Dickey Farms.
Hurricane Helene now just hours away from making landfall in Florida. Tens of thousands of people have been ordered to evacuate.
The storm is expected to make landfall this evening in Florida's Big Bend region with a possible 20-foot storm surge. Mandatory evacuations are in order for at least
it's always Florida.
Coastal counties, and federal task forces from around the country are prepared to rescue those in trouble. Helene hit Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula Wednesday, flooding the Cancun area and dousing Cuba as the storm continued to grow Thursday. Governor Kemp gave this warning to Georgians today.
If it is not necessary for you to be on the roads during and after this storm, please try to stay home.
Now, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia have joined Florida in declaring states of emergency.
This could be your last chance to get storm ready. Some tips to get your home and yourself prepared. Secure those loose items like grills, potted plants, furniture. Stock up on essentials like food and water. Flashlights and extra batteries always help out. Fill up your tank, and most importantly, stay informed. You can download our 13WMAZ mobile app to get important information and weather notifications throughout the storm.
13WMAZ weather, sponsored by Bucky Holland Heating and Air.
Well, no shortage of rain. That started last night. It's been going all night, as you know, and all day today. And so this is kind of the show before the show, I guess, is the opening act.
Hey, that's from the fair.
We've had some lulls out there for a little bit, but
they're setting up for the fair.
The fairgrounds in Perry, where obviously the priority is not to keep setting up for the fair right now. You don't want any tall things out there like Ferris wheels, especially with the wind that'll be coming in tonight. There's the look.
He's
at the radar
telling you
shot,
he's more
and
important than that book.
Kind of a lull time right now. We're seeing for most of our area. Big rain shield that came up a little bit earlier. Matter of fact, this batch right there had the little swirlies in there, and we had a couple of tornado warnings with that. Nothing ever verified, and again, they're usually small, brief, and they're kind of hard to pick up, and sometimes they'll just vanish on you from one scan to the next. This down here that we're seeing again, that I just showed you on the sky cam, looks to be just rain heading down 75. But to show you, again, we have no tornado warnings right now. These green polygons are flash flood warnings, and we'll continue to see those pop on and off as we go on through tonight. But anywhere from Macon south and eastward, the potential for a brief spin-up kind of tropical tornado there. Most of that, I think, is going to be as you go a little bit more toward the south and east. This is the cluster that we saw a little earlier, and they were coming up as they crossed the river here. And again, they had a couple of little areas in there that wanted to rotate, but nothing that was really standing out. As far as the big picture is concerned, as I mentioned earlier, Helene is a Cat 3 storm now. It is actually a very high-end Cat 3. It's almost a Category 4. And you can see that everything is going right along with.
I wouldn't mind taking in Mama and Papa's cats, like, and keeping them in the bathroom or something.
Coming right up through into the Big Bend of Florida tonight. Let's go to the latest track. Again, we should be getting another one in about less than 15 minutes. Because now they're coming out hourly. 125 mile per hour winds. Once you get to 130, you're at a Category 4 hurricane. It's a high end 3 now. Moving north-northeast at 23. And again, that's a pretty decent speed for a hurricane. I mean, we talked about it all week. It's going to be a fast mover, and that's been the case. As far as the estimated strength at landfall, it's showing a 3. Wouldn't be surprised to see that go to a 4 maybe before landfall. Either way, it's a high end 3. And then the track has shifted a little bit. It was a little more over this way. Why is that important? Well, it's crucial for us because wherever that eye is, the stronger winds are going to be right at the eye wall there. And then, of course, on the east side of that. It's the reason why our eastern and southeastern counties look to maybe have some of the strongest wind. And you can see this 2. That's important. That means that it could still be a Category 2 hurricane. We were thinking 1, but it might still be a 2 as we go into South Georgia, which would include some of our southern counties, and then maybe even still a Cat 1 pretty much all the way through our area tonight, maybe trying to weaken down into a tropical storm. The storm outlook for any severe stuff, as I mentioned, other than hurricane force winds, this is mainly for like spin-up tornadoes. That's a level 3. It's mainly for coastal Georgia and the Carolinas, but it does include some of our southeastern counties. Hurricane warning. You can see it here on the
oh, look, it's moved.
Purple. These counties just continue all day to get stretched farther up toward the north, and all of these just got added on here recently for the potential for some of those gusty winds. Let me show you a future view, and it looks pretty similar to what it's been showing all week. This is 7, 8 o'clock tonight. That lull that we have now probably going to end, and then we're right back to the soup again, and we're going to continue with this rain off and on. Midnight. I think once we get past midnight is when our southern counties are going to start to notice the wind kind of piling up. There's around 2 in the morning, and really the model has been just consistent every time for multiple days. It has not really budged from this. There's 2 to 3, going 3 to 4 o'clock. Again, the center here is a little bit outside of Macon off through the east here. Again, any shift in that, either way, we're all getting some strong wind tonight. There's not like one area that's going to be like, oh, it's just a little breeze and a couple of sprinkles. That won't be the way it is tonight, not with this one. And then
that's still bad, because the stuff around the eye is really bad.
Morning. The tornado potential, again, is mainly going to be in the brighter shaded area. Again, like we've seen in some of our southeastern counties, a couple of spin-ups, you may see that more or not us, but they, as you go into coastal Georgia, into South Carolina, as we head toward morning tomorrow as well. How about rainfall totals? We've already piled up 5-6 inches of rain in parts of our area, and we're looking at the potential for another 5-6 or more inches of rain with this. And then, of course, then there is the wind map is the one that gets some attention, and obviously with this latest run, some of the numbers have gone up, unfortunately. So there's around midnight tonight already. Farther south and east, you're getting into 40-50 mile per hour winds possible. This is around 2 in the morning, 51, 73. We'll see if these numbers actually verify. Sometimes I've seen that on models before a hurricane comes in and we don't quite get that high, and I hope that's the case. As we go forward, yes, that stands out a lot right there. This is when we could still be a Category 1, at least, hurricane here, and running on.
I'm glad the eye won't hit us.
These numbers are exact, but I think some of them may be kind of close. You can see 50, 55 on that other side is a little bit of a difference. So whichever way, if it's jogs over one way or the other, the numbers are different. And then as we go on through 5, 6 in the morning, trying to pull away, the winds will finally, I think by the time we get into 8, 9 o'clock, but even once we get into the day tomorrow, we'll still have a breeze, but nothing like what we're going to see tonight. All right, so photos. We do this where we ask you can send those in. Clearly, folks, if you've got those wind speeds like I just showed you, you don't want to be out in that. That's not smart. But if there's some damaged photos in the early evening or after tomorrow, after the sun comes up, you can send them to 752-1309. Videos too. Appreciate it.
Whether you say supper or dinner, we've got your wallet covered.
I say both.
4 p.m. every day, get our $6 dinner deals. Our Southern fried chicken favorites with 2 sides and a biscuit for just $6. See you after 4. They're